so dressed up?
I was just doing a little writing.
You dress up and put on cologne to write?
Because you know how I think better in the shower and I get the positive ions going in there.
¿Qué tal? Tenemos el privilegio de estar aquí con Woody Allen y vamos a platicar con él a propósito de su nueva película Midnight in Paris. Hi, how are you?
Hello, good, very good.
Pleased to meet you. And first of all, how would you define Midnight in Paris in 2 or 3 sentences without telling the plot?
I would define it by saying that it's a romantic comedy, a contemporary romantic comedy set in Paris, and that it stars Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams and Marion Cotillard mostly, and that it's a film that I had a great deal of pleasure making because it enabled me to live in Paris for months, and that itself, they didn't even have to pay me. That itself was enough reward for making the film.
And it shows that love for Paris.
I think so. I think it does, and it's because it's genuine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and well, fantasy and dreams are not usually associated to your films, but they have been a crucial part of your or of many of your films. What do you think about fantasy and in your reality?
I think they open the door to a great many situations and possibilities that if you keep the door locked in terms of naturalistic storytelling, you're making a mistake. It gives you so many different possibilities and new ideas. It's something that always stimulates me when I'm writing to explore that other possibility. When Owen Wilson is walking the streets of Paris at midnight and a car pulls up, and if he had gotten in and they had taken him to a party, just a regular party in the neighborhood, and he had met a pretty girl there and they had started a relationship, you would have had one kind of movie. But if you forget about reality, then you can really do some flamboyant scenes and some exciting possibilities.
Where did the idea for this film in particular came from?
I'd always, whenever I think of Paris, I think of contemporary Paris, of course, but I also think of Paris during the 20s because all these great artists lived there and they flourished there. It was the home. All the American artists came there and European artists came to write and to paint, and it was just a terrific atmosphere for art. And also the Belle Epoque in Paris was a magnet for all the beauty of the world, all the architecture and design and clothing and music and food and wine. So I thought that's really what I want to get into the story.
Mm-hmm. In this film, you are quoting a Mexican film, The Exterminating Angel, by Luis Buñuel. Why did you choose that film in particular?
Well, it's one of the ones of Buñuel's that's one of his most charming films, one of his most amusing and interesting films, and it's a film that a certain amount of Americans know of Buñuel's because it was, he was not a commercial filmmaker in the United States, but of his films, that one is known a little bit, and the joke works very well with that film.
And well, Midnight in Paris was also a project you have for the last 4 or 5 years. Is it true?
Yes, I was going to make this film in Paris about 5 years ago, and the budget kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally we had to stop. And then I finally raised the money for it, and we came back. By now, the actors that I wanted to be in it were off doing other things, and we thought about Owen Wilson, but Owen was not really the right actor for it. But then I rewrote it for Owen. I changed the character for Owen, and then he became very correct for it.
How much the film change in those 4 years, not only because of the actors?
The contemporary, nothing changed in the film in those 4 years. The only time it changed was when I rewrote it for Owen. And, and that was really the contemporary part more, who he was and what his aspirations were.
I had a private detective follow him.
And what happened?
I don't know. The detective agency says the detective is missing.